Good evening, Year 11 parents, carers and students. I hope you're all well and welcome to our first Year 11 Crunch Time presentation. Now, we would have, of course, absolutely have loved to have had all of you in the theatre this evening for this presentation, but I'm sure you appreciate that given the current government guidelines, that's simply not possible. But I hope that this presentation will really share with you our vision for Year 11 and key points of focus to ensure we're really maximising their chances of success. I know that the element of uncertainty inevitably can breed some anxiety. But I want to reassure you that KEA students are in a good position with the provision of KEA at home throughout lockdown, with things like a longer school day in comparison to a lot of other schools, with intervention up and running, with the expertise of outstanding teachers at the school. Our students are in a good position, and as long as they are doing exactly what we are asking of them, they are in a good position and they will remain in a good position to achieve as highly as possible in their GCSEs. Now, of course, there are a lot of question marks around what the 2021 examinations will look like. We've seen from the 2020 season that the government can make decisions that are then changed quite quickly. However, we know that at the moment what the government want is for our students to sit their exams, and that's exactly what we want also. And we can reasonably assume that they are going ahead. We know things can change. It's unlikely, but of course it is possible that things would change and our students may not sit their exams. And all this does is put an even bigger emphasis on the work that our students do in lessons, their attendance, the way that they conduct themselves, the way that they're engaging, their commitment to their studies, how they're demonstrating their teachers, how they can make progress. All we are doing now is putting an even bigger emphasis on the importance of all of that. So our key message to you there is really that we must prepare for every possible eventuality. So there are some key concepts and some key ideas that I shared with our students on the first day of the academic year, and we will keep coming back to the importance of these 6 things with our students over the course of the coming months. Attendance, behaviour, engagement, commitment, progress, and consistency. So starting off with attendance, there is a clear link between poor attendance and lower academic achievement, meaning that we need our students in every single day where possible. Of course, we know that there are some students at the moment who are having to isolate or be absent from school for longer periods of time. And we know that given the current circumstances, in some instances, that this is unavoidable. And first and foremost is our students' health and safety. However, there are instances where students are absent from school when actually they could be in. And having a runny nose or having a bit of a headache is not an excuse for our students to not be present at school. Because as I said, there is a direct link between lower academic achievement and poor attendance to school. So we need our students in every single day, of course, unless where it's unavoidable. Medical appointments during school hours must be completely avoided. I know there are some instances where again they are unavoidable and they have to happen, particularly in cases where you have waited a particularly long time for an appointment. However, there are some appointments that are unavoidable. And as an example, if a student has a dentist appointment, an orthodontist appointment, a doctor's appointment, they cannot be out of school for any more time than they need to be. We need our students in their lessons, and consistently missing lessons is going to have a direct impact on their attainment. If students are absent from school, they must be working on KEA at home and they must be communicating with their teachers proactively via email, and they will be held accountable for this work. And this goes for students who are absent from school for 1 day, for 2 days, or of course in the case where a student has to isolate for 10 or 14 days. They need to be engaging with this work. We cannot allow student absence from school to impact their learning and to impact their chances of success. And finally, students must arrive to school on time. I'm sure you will have noticed that at the moment at KEA1, Year 10 and Year 11, so our Key Stage 4 students, come into school half an hour earlier than the rest of the school. And that's because we've put a really clear emphasis on the importance of their prep lessons that at the moment are 30-minute sessions in the morning between 8:30 and 9 a.m. and those sessions focus on the core subjects. So at the moment they are focusing on English, maths and science, and then as the year progresses they will also cover the option subjects. But our students cannot miss those. If a student is persistently late to school, then that is a significant chunk of learning that our students are going to miss. So with all of this, with students being in school as much as they possibly can, ideally 100% of the time, students engaging with KEA at home if they are absent, the avoidance of medical appointments during school hours, and students arriving to school on time every single day. I need to ask for parents and carers support with that, because we need our students in school and on time for us to really be able to work with them. Now, with regards to Year 11 behaviour and conduct, it goes without saying that we simply should not be dealing with poor behaviour from Year 11 students. They need to be here, they need to be focused, they need to be learning, regardless of whether it is Monday period 1 or Friday period 5. Our Year 11 teachers simply cannot be bogged down with trying to deal with poor behaviour from our Year 11 students. And actually, while saying that, on the whole, our Year 11 students have made an excellent start back. And Year 11 classroom teachers have commented repeatedly about how engaged they are. So it seems like on the whole, Year 11 students have come back with the absolute right attitude. They've come back, they've not allowed themselves to be distracted by worries about how they may have fallen behind or how much learning they may have lost, or with a lack of resilience or motivation. Actually, they have really impressed us in the way that they are engaging with their learning. So really keep it up. But I do need to take this opportunity to remind you that we simply just cannot be dealing with behaviour issues with our Year 11 students. If a Year 11 student on any day receives a detention, but they also have intervention, Year 11 students must go to their intervention first and then attend their detention afterwards. So if they have a 30 or a 60-minute detention on that day, they then need to go to the dining hall at KEA1 to sit the remaining 30 minutes of their detention after their intervention. If they have a 90-minute detention, students need to finish their intervention and they then need to go and sit the detention until 5:30 when they will be dismissed. At the moment, the main reasons that detentions have been issued to our Year 11 students is for missing homework, for uniform infringements or for lateness. Now, you will know that we have always had really high expectations with regards to how our students present themselves. We absolutely expect them to take pride in their uniform, and that will not change now they're in Year 11. And with regards to homework, members of staff are only setting homework to boost students' learning, to add to their learning, to develop their thinking and to develop on the ideas and the content that they've been focusing on in lessons. A completion of homework will have a direct link to their attainment. So it goes without saying that we need our students to be completing homework when it is issued. And of course, we need the number of Year 11 students in detention at the end of the day to be as minimal as possible. As I said at the beginning, we are incredibly impressed with how Year 11 have returned, and we need to just make these final tweaks to ensure that behaviour under any circumstances is not getting in the way of the way our students are engaging in their lessons. Now, beyond the basics of attendance and behaviour, there are another 4 ideas that I will continuously be coming back to with students as we progress along the year. Engagement. We need our students to be engaged 100% of the time. There, of course, was a concern that our students would come back to school after such a long time away from school and potentially be tired or unmotivated. But with our Year 11 students, it's simply just not the case. And our students are engaged with lessons, and we need it to remain that way. We need our students active in lessons, not passive. We need our students asking questions, engaging in classroom discussions, having their hand up. We need our students to be proactively going to see their teachers should they have any questions or difficulties with homework. We need 100% engagement from them 100% of the time. We need our students to show that they are committed to their studies, and that very much encompasses everything that I've said so far. We need to show that they're committed to coming into school every day. They're committed to engaging with their lessons. We now need to see that they are committed to attending intervention if they are on the targeted lists. We need to ensure that they are committed to going to the library for the first 30 minutes of the day should they wish to catch up on some work or go over some revision. And all of this will become even more important as we start approaching their mock exams that will begin the week commencing the 30th of November. Teachers need to be confident that they are seeing progress with their students. Now, as you will be aware, our students in last year's Year 11 received their GCSE results based on centre assessed grades. So grades that were issued by their teachers. And the students that got the highest grades were where students had demonstrated progress over a long period of time. And that comes hand in hand with consistency. Now, some students in the past have run the risk of not being completely committed to showing progress and developing their thinking and learning and engaging, and they haven't done that until they've received the results of their mock exams and been unhappy with them. And that then gave them the motivation in the final part of the year to really push and then become engaged and then become committed. And our students at the moment, they simply cannot do that. Our students cannot wait to be disappointed with an assessment result to really pick themselves up and try that bit harder. We need our students committed themselves as individuals to make progress, and that needs to be consistent across the year, not something that they do when they receive their results for their first or second set of mocks that will happen early next year. Now, attached to this presentation are 3 separate PDF documents that have been created by our Director of English, Maths and Science. And each of them include real key information on how our students can be successful in those subjects. So they include tips on what they should be revising at home and the ways in which they should be approaching their revision. Students will receive a printed copy of these documents in their form time on Thursday, and I would ask that once our students are home, you ensure that those documents go up on the fridge in the kitchen or go up on students' bedroom walls, because over the coming months, these are concepts in the core subjects and key tips that our students should constantly be referring back to whenever they are going to focus on some revision. Now, before I close, I want to say that as a group, so myself and the rest of the staff at KEA, our students and yourselves as parents and carers all want the exact same thing for our students. I know that there is not a single student in this Year 11 cohort that does not want to do well. Our students have big dreams and they have big ambitions, and we want to do everything that we can to support them in achieving those. And this group, this relationship between us, between parents and carers and with students is more important now than it ever has been. We need our students to be communicating with us in the same way as we will communicate with you, and the same way as you should feel that you can email or contact members of staff should you have any questions at all. The best way of communicating with members of staff at KEA is always via email, and those details can be found on the school website. So I'd like to say take care, and thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to hopefully being able to speak to you in person in the future. Thanks very much.